and welcome. I'm Tafesse Damu. My guest, Mulugeta Tafesse, is an Ethiopian artist based in Antwerp, Belgium. For nearly 4 decades, Mulugeta has been articulating his thoughts through his paintings as well as essays he wrote covering art in the African continent and the diaspora. A very warm welcome to the program.
Thanks, Tafesse Damu. It is an honor.
So only a few weeks ago, you organized a retrospective here in Addis Ababa. Why a retrospective?
This was like needing that. It was for 4 years. I've not been at this, and also whenever I go in Addis, it is always a small show. Probably between 20 and 30 workers. And lately, it was, I believe, 2003, now 2003. So it was like 4 years ago I've been in this Art Lela Art Gallery, and there I showed, and it was very small works.
So
very
you
small
want
works, and one, I mean, like, format-wise and also number-wise. So, but this is like a big show, actually. It is a really very big show.
So you wanted to show the evolution of your work, to share that with the...
Exactly. I felt that it was for at this high time to see what I have been doing in the past. Because I know I have been in Bulgaria, I've been in Belgium, I've been in Spain, I've been traveling like a nomad artist in Europe. But at the same time, they don't know exactly what I've been doing. So it is for the first time.
How do you explain the evolution of your art? Because you've been trained in Bulgaria. You've been trained in Bulgaria during those socialist years, and basically...
Exactly. Social realism, or let's say socialist realism. Social realism is probably in Mexico. Socialist realism. But I have been like untouched by that because it was late. I mean, that the time I have been in Bulgaria was like really, Bulgarian artists were interested in Western art and Western modernism. So it is just as a talk. People say, we study in socialist countries, socialist realism, but that is not true in Bulgaria. I mean, for that matter, in the whole East European countries, there was no really socialist realism at the period that I have been in East Europe.
So when you moved to Western Europe, and for well over 30 years, you've been based in Antwerp, largely.
Exactly. In Belgium, 30 years. 2003 is my 30th year. So I've been all the time. The studio that you are now recording I'm here 20 years in this studio.
Do you consider yourself an artist, an African artist in the diaspora, an Ethiopian artist in the diaspora? How do you describe yourself as an artist living?
Good question. Because really, I am African diaspora artist living in Europe. They have given us a name also like Afropolitan. So it is like an artist, intellectual, really living in his home country, as well as also in Western countries, so in other countries, in foreign countries. So we are like Afropolitans. There is another name also, I will probably tell you another time that one. But this Afropolitan fits me well. So African diaspora artist living in Belgium as well. Yes.
So how do you navigate?
I'm Ethiopian through and through. There's no argument on that.
So how do you navigate in these large Western media?
Okay. A very good question.
As a Black African artist.
Yes. it is not easy, but really I do my best to live in this milieu and work well and try to compete with the artists. And I have like a scholarly life.
I know that you have exhibited a lot in several venues in Antwerp and elsewhere in Europe. How are you viewed by the Europeans?
They are positive. And also those who are not positive also, they don't tell you, but it is like what do you call it? A body language that you feel, no, those guys don't like me or things like that. It is not really easy because this trend, this knowledge has been practiced here in this Western art, in this place for at least 5 centuries. So, I mean, the medium that I'm using is their medium, actually, the oil paint on tempera. Okay, tempera could be Ethiopian as well, with the Sudanese Egyptian, but the oil paint on canvas, these things are really well found out here. Right. And so the things that I haven't done anything new, those guys who don't see in my art some kind of some kind of discovery, they consider that probably they don't think that I'm doing rubbish, but really I'm like every other artist. And some are really view my work very specially, and they really give me a boost, and they really think that I'm doing very well, and so that is why probably I'm more promoted. Of course, there are also other African artists about whom I'm jealous, and I want to be like them, but I'm doing okay.
But they are not many. I mean, it's quite a struggle, right?
There are not many. There are probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. With some of them, I've been exhibiting.
So
they're doing very well. They're doing very well. But again, because I do art theory, so it is probably only me who does art theory. Probably also the Nigerian artist Olu Ogibe also does like that, and theory. Chika Okeke probably also. 3 artists who do theory and practice, painting practice,
right?
So, or visual art practice, whatever they could call it.
When do you, like, for example, I want
artists are really or do something for living and also paint, and and then they're somewhere. But so I am like split between writing and painting. So
I want to tap into that expertise that you have, which is writing and articulating on art by Africans. So when do you comfortably say that an African artist has made it in Europe? When they are exhibited in museums, when they put together remarkable exhibitions, when they are reviewed in favorable terms by the media or by the experts, when do you decide that any African artist has made it in Europe?
It's not really like the Asians or like the Europeans themselves, for that matter, but still it is much better than decades ago. The Africans are coming up now, and they are being accepted to show in contemporary art spaces. At this time, Grace Ndritu, a Kenyan living in England, and is having a big show. So she could be the second African artist after Cameroonian Pascal Martin Tayo, who has also shown a big show. Pascal Martin Tayo is also a prominent contemporary artist, established artist living in Belgium. But Grace Ndritu lives in England, and also she has a studio in Brussels.
So you think that
African artists are showing in contemporary art spaces, it was like forbidden, like, or understand forbidden. It's not really like, yeah, written out loud, but it was like that. They didn't enter there.
So my question is, so you
yes, they have made these guys. There are not many, but once in a, what do you call it, really, like 5 year, something like that. Yeah, African artists show in big spaces. It has to do also with pardon.
So you
with
think
Okuwe and Wezor and Ologube coming to bigger job like curating Venice Biennale and Documenta, and he has brought a lot of Africans, so that is also helpful.
So you think these people have made it? They are successful. The artists that you just mentioned. If you think they are successful,
it is many things. To be successful is to get into commercial galleries, to get into prominent contemporary art museums who have big names in the world, to put their pieces in these institutions, and it is both. But probably few artists have done that. It is to combine both areas is difficult. To succeed selling, to enter into contemporary art museums or centers is really, to do both is difficult.
So do museums in Europe collect the works of African painters, contemporary African painters? Do they buy? Do they collect?
Very little. Private collectors do that. Private collectors collect, but still, I have been reading the figures, and it is only Asians, because they've got now money, that the Western art market is competing with the Asian art market. But the African art market is very little. It doesn't even reach 10%. Probably, if African wealth, it's platinum, it's gold, it is oil, it could be like 40 or 30%, but yeah, it doesn't amount to that, what the Western museums, contemporary art museums, modern art museums buying from Africa. It's very, very little. It is just very little.
Let's talk a bit about Addis art scene. At one point, I think you believe that this at one point has been very active, like this scene, right?
Yes. Yes, I think I don't want to politicize stuff, but it is true that during the dark time, the artistic, what do you call it, environment was very lousy, and that is why we haven't seen really a lot of artists working, and they were not really. They don't have the morale and what I call the energy to create visual art pieces and to exhibit them, and after that just started again because they were not really, when I was studying at fine art school, very few artists were showing. It was Zarihun, Mulugeta, and Washu. It is only two of them they were showing, and all the rest were like, I don't know, they were like a very, very abnormal situation. Before them, it was really very lively. And the time of Skender Bogosian, Gabriel Christos Dasta, Forktakle, and it was active. They were like, the young artists were also showing, and they were like...
You're talking about the 1960s and 1970s.
Their art gallery. And they were showing stuff, and so it is again, went down, and again now it is now a little bit getting up, rising. Now, this is full of art, exhibition spaces a lot, whether it is in a space, what you call it, hotel aulas, and everywhere, a lot of a lot of exhibition spaces. So it is something very encouraging.
So those exhibiting are young artists at the same time they established and older ones, right?
Yes. Yes. Not only the young, everybody shows, even the, what do you call it, our professors, they show in group, they show individually, and like there are 3, 4 private galleries, and also a lot of hotels really show art spaces or buy and display artwork. So this is something that you don't know. We didn't know.
So do you agree that there is a vibrant art scene in Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa?
I believe in Ethiopia, I'm not sure, but probably there are like 2 cities. I have visited also Mekelle before 4 years. There are a few places there also. And also they have like academy there a little bit. But Addis is really prominent. And it can compete Nairobi and Khartoum. I don't know about Accra and Lagos. I have been in Senegal, and it's strong over there also. I have not been in South Africa and also Arab countries. I have been in Khartoum. Khartoum is really very, very interesting.
Interesting meaning?
Nairobi, Addis are very interesting.
So
yes, there are really artists. Actually, artists move through. I mean, just artists from Khartoum come to Addis, and artists who are Sudanese work in Nairobi, and you see that. And also, they sit. I mean, in that Addis Art Village in Ethiopia, there were like Kenyan artists and Sudanese artists working there. They were like, yes, even there were like 2 Sudanese artists showing at Lila Art Gallery. And one of them a prominent, Rashid Diab. So they should continue working. I hope also situations in Sudan will be calmer, and Ethiopians and Kenyans will go there to paint and or to make art and create, very interesting cultural settings or environments.
So this is not something new. Now that you started, I would like to talk. I want you to talk a little bit on that. You've been thinking and articulating your views on this triangle for several years now. This is not something new. It's been there for ages, right?
Yes, exactly. Khartoum, Addis Ababa, Nairobi. Because really our refugees like Wasane, Falak Armede went through Nairobi to America, to Europe. And also, I mean, their artists also came when Sudan was like, controlled by despots, and they come to Addis, and or they went to Nairobi. So it is, and this really is very interesting, and it has been there all the time, and it is an old tradition. It should be only renewed.
So how do you rate the larger East African art scene?
It is a very interesting. I think that component would stand also, because we see also in Western Africa, Ghanaians and Senegalese and Nigerians, really they're showing together, they're strong, and they go with one curator from time to time. So we can organize ourselves like East African artists, and it would be easier. Of course, when we become really richer countries with, and then we can go, even to country or to region level. But at this time, I think it is much better to work together. I mean, 3, 4 countries.
You see East Africans coming together coming to work together, map out ways of moving, forging ahead?
Sometimes it is the politicians who can forge some kind of unity, but also sometimes it is the artists, and another time it is the academia. So why not? It is the artists should start this, because Rashid Dia, for example, really is working with Arab artists. He's working with Ethiopian artists, with Kenyan gallerists. He's so active. And in the time of Afwork, it was also like that. He really is very, he liked the Pan-African spirit, Afwork Takleh. And he worked with a lot of African artists. And he gave, as far as I remember, really shows in almost in every major African cities.
Can you tell me, what do you suggest should be done by artists in the African continent to have some kind of a presence within the continent and elsewhere?
Mm-hmm. I focus on what we've had. I mean, the quality, the great stories, the achievements that we've had in our histories, and create new, and also what do you call it, really just this, some kind of values also that the Western countries have done, like democracy is good for humanity. And I think we have to bring that value as well. Not only our values, also to bring some kind of social values that the Westerners, it could be all the Chinese, have done in social and political sphere.
Do you think that institutions like the African Union have a role to play, and a significant one? And are they doing that? Are they playing that role?
It is more like I can't really, I would not like to upset, politicians, and it is doing all right, but really it should do something more, the African Union.
Thank you so much.
So, thanks a lot.